to solve this equation by factoring, and the very first thing that I want to do is to set up the factorization of two sets of parentheses. So a binomial times a binomial is equal to 0. Now the reason that I could just jump right in to that factorization is because I had it set up the right way. I had all of my terms on one side and 0 on the other side. The other thing that I didn't need to worry about was any GCFs, any greatest common factors. There was nothing that divided into all of those coefficients, 1, 3, and 10. So I'm ready to go ahead and continue factoring. As I'm doing my factorization, I want to do, let's see, something times something is x squared. That's going to go here and here. That's an x times an x. And then I want to do the same for this negative 10. So the negative 10 could be 1 times 10. 1 would need to be negative, or 2 times 5. I need a difference of 3 in the middle, so it's definitely going to be for these two positions, the 2 and the 5. One needs to be negative, one needs to be positive. The bigger one's going to be negative, and that one's going to be positive. Okay, it's kind of a mess. Let me rewrite it. So x plus 2, x minus 5 is equal to 0. So I've got the correct factorization. In order to solve it, I need to look at this as one thing times another thing is equal to 0. So whenever I multiply two things or more to be equal to 0, one or both have to be equal to 0. This is going to give me two really mini equations. Our first mini equation would be x plus 2 equals 0. If I subtract a 2 from both sides, I get x is equal to negative 2. Now you could also just think that through, right? You could say what plus 2 makes that 0. I'm zeroing these factors out. Okay, let's do the same with the next one. So I've got x minus 5 equals 0. How would I make x minus 5 equal 0? It would be with a positive 5, but I could also solve it. Sometimes they're not quite as easy to see. And then this one would be x is equal to 5. So I've got two solutions to this quadratic equation, to my degree 2 equation. Now I've got two more really important examples for you to make sure that you're prepared for your exam and your homework. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. So in this next one, I want to solve this one by factoring as well, but it's not set up. I really need that 0 on one side in order to use that. It's the 0 factor property that we used. So I'm going to add a 2 to both sides, plus 2 plus 2. This is going to give me, I'm going to write it in order, so 2x squared plus 5x plus that 2 is equal to 0. And then I quickly check the coefficients for a GCF, a factor that goes into all of them. 2, 5, and 2 don't share a common factor. So I'm ready to factor this into two binomials. Let's go ahead and fill in those blanks. So I need something times something to equal this 2x squared. The 2 would be a 2 times a 1. X squared would be an x times an x. So how about a 2x times an x? I've got that done. And then on the end there, I need something times something equals 2. That's definitely going to be a 2 times a 1. And I've got two choices for how to place those. I could put the 2 and the 1 here, but if I do a check, 2x and 2x gives me 4x, but I've got a 5x there in the middle. So that's not going to work. Let me go ahead and just back up, and I'm going to switch the order there. So instead, I've got the 1 first and the 2 second. Everything's positive, so I want those to be positive as well. So I end up with 2x plus 1, x plus 2 is equal to 0, and I'm ready to solve my two mini equations. So as I'm solving these, I'm going to put a line right there. 2x plus 1 could equal 0. Just solving this equation, subtract your 1. 2x is equal to a negative 1, and then divide by 2. X is equal to a negative 1/2. Now let's move over to the x plus 2 equals 0. So I've got x plus 2 could also equal 0. This is a nice one to look at. How could I zero that factor out? I would do it with a negative 2. You could, of course, solve, but however you looked at it, you've got that second solution there of a negative 2. Okay, take a look at this example. What do we need to do first? If you said move the negative 3x over to the other side, you are absolutely correct. I'm going to add the 3x. I'm going to add that 3x. So that's going to give me the 0 that I want on one side. I get 3x squared. I'm going to write this in order, so the x term next, minus 6 is equal to 0. So I've got 0 on one side. But the other thing that I'm going to look for is a GCF. It's actually okay if you forget, but it's going to be a lot harder to work if you forget your GCF. 3 goes into everybody, so I can divide out a 3. I can divide it completely out because this is an equation. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I can actually divide off that 3. And I get x squared, nicer already, plus x. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. 0 divided by 3 is, of course, 0. Let's go ahead and factor that. Factor that. And then I want what times what is equal to an x squared. That's going to be an x times an x. And then what times what is equal to a negative 2? Either 2 and negative 1 or negative 2 and a positive 1. I want this positive x in the middle, so I think I want plus 2, and I know I do, minus 1. You could definitely check those. This is a really nice one to talk about zeroing those out. How do you zero out x plus 2? X would need to be a negative 2, or you could solve it. How would you zero out that other factor, x minus 1? X would need to be a positive 1, x equals 1. Now there are lots of different types of quadratic equations. You're going to want to watch this video next.